Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and I wanted to do a quick video log for all my subscribers and for anyone who might be tuning into my channel for the first time, just to talk about something that I have some very strong feelings towards. There are three questions I get very often here on Mr. Happy Gaming. The first one is, when are you going to make your bed? The second one is, where did you get that sweet ass gun blade? And the third one is, how do you feel about legacy players? Now, I get asked quite often as well if I'm a legacy player, and the answer is yes. So I figured it would be only fair to, as a legacy player, express my opinions towards the legacy campaign and the controversy it stirred up amongst a few select people in the community. What is legacy is really the first question you kind of have to answer before you can go into any of this, because not everybody knows about the legacy campaign. The legacy campaign is uh, is a campaign that was done when the game was in 1.0. It was a campaign that rewarded players who were paying a subscription fee of, I believe, 3 months it was, during a certain period of time. And so I think that means that it was what, like $27, $30. I don't even remember. It's quite some time ago now, about a year. And the big thing is that it gives people a reduction in monthly subscription costs for A Realm Reborn. It brings the $14.99 deal down to $9.99. You get your own chocobo, which will only be obtainable for legacy accounts, and you get your name in the credits. On top of that, you're also granted a guaranteed early access to the game without having to pre-order it, which is, well, for obvious reasons, we already have it. We're not going to pre-order it again. And the big gripe seems to be that some people are upset that new players can't obtain this. There's been a lot of people asking, oh, they should open up the Legacy campaign again, and that simply won't happen. But we'll get into that a little bit as I answer some other questions about the Legacy campaign. How is this affecting some players? Now, that's actually a very widespread question. Uh, The one thing I can think of more than anything is elitism. Now, for those of you who aren't MMO junkies like me, elitism is when you have a player who has played the game for a very long time, and his attitude towards players who may not be as well versed in the game as him is that they are all waste of time and that they are just worse and that he will never play with them, he or she, I should say. And this legacy status seems to have brought about its own form of elitism, where legacy players sometimes don't enjoy as much playing with non-legacy players. But not even that, more often than not, it seems that non-legacy players have this sort of reverse elitism towards legacy players, that they seem to think that legacy players will always put themselves on that pedestal. And I don't see it as often as it's making it sound like I see, but it's died down a lot with Phase 3 coming out. But there's still the occasional post where people are upset about a lot of things regarding legacy characters. In fact, one of the top posts right now is that all people who had version 1.0 characters should have to start over. And it's just creating this segregation of players that is not healthy for an MMO community. Granted, a lot of people just don't care, but there is still that segregation that people are dealing with. And considering how tight-knit the Final Fantasy community is known for being amongst some MMOs, it's a little bit strange and a little bit counterproductive to have this segregation and for players to be worrying about who's new and who's been playing since 1.0 and who's supported. It's just there's a lot of problems that are being caused just because a few players like myself paid for the game when it was less than playable, and they seem to think we have this entitlement, and I don't know. I'll talk about that with the next question. How do I feel about the legacy status? This is really the um, the bread and butter of the video, I suppose you could say. This is the most important part. This is the point I'm trying to make. I just wanted to get some things clarified. How do I feel? I feel that the legacy status as itself is not a great, doesn't mean a great deal for a few reasons. One is that anyone who had a 1.0 account who might be upset that they don't have the campaign, the legacy status, um, they did receive an email regarding it. That's how I actually got it. I wasn't playing Final Fantasy XIV at the time of the legacy campaign. I would have never used so much of my time on a game that was so incomplete and that was just barely scraping to have content. I would have never done that. But when I got it, a bunch of my friends started saying, "Hey man, you should come back." I mean, worst case scenario, you don't play, you get sorry about that. Worst case scenario, you don't play, but you get the reduced fees and you get the chocobo and you get everything else. And so I said, yeah, and I went back and I played. I played for not even a month before before quitting again, and then I didn't come back again until later again. So I was in and out of the beta. I played for several months raiding in that game. I guess if that's what you want to call it. I did play initially when the game came out. I grinded 16 hours a day to get level 50s, to get a level 50. Came back, leveled a bunch of things, left, came back, leveled a bunch of things again. I came back in spurts of content basically. And that's pretty common in an MMO. In a MMO that's popular, I guess I should say, which Final Fantasy XIV wasn't. But I had just such a connection to the Final Fantasy series that I found myself just keep coming back for months. I would come back for a few months, leave for a few months, and that kind of happened for the entire 2 years of the 14. But I did eventually obtain it, and I look at it now, and I look at it as it would take me 6 months to get back the 3 months that I spent on 1.0. I believe it was $8 or $9 a month back then, so it was only really like 27 bucks, I guess. And so it would take anywhere between 5 and 6 months for me to get back what I paid for the legacy status because it's $5 off of the regular $14.99 subscription. That's not including if somebody were to get the 6 month version, which would be $12.99, so it'd be only be $3 off, and it would take me even longer. So in reality, it's like, sure, if I play in the long run, which I will probably be doing because I've been waiting for this MMO for a long time, and I'm really happy with a lot of things with this game, and I feel like it's going to do very well. But just in perspective, if I were to not play it after that time, I would have just essentially invested and not gained any of my money back. And that's how I look at the legacy status. It was an investment. And if I don't do anything with that investment, then I've simply wasted it. And I want players to understand that because people who just look at the legacy status like this entitled thing, I get a chocobo, like an early access thing, somebody new could have gotten with a pre-order. I honestly don't feel special at all for being this legacy player, and I don't want to be because I want to be able to create bonds and bond with people who aren't legacy. Maybe they're playing for the first time. Maybe they had a 1.0 character, but they rightfully stopped playing. You know, I don't care where you came from or what you did. I just care about the community as a whole. And that's why at the game's release, I feel like it's pointless to segregate the two. Now, I don't think it's pointless to have legacy servers versus non-legacy servers. That's a good idea. Because if you were to put legacy characters with non-legacy characters at release, economies would be messed up all over the place. Of course, non-legacy players and brand new accounts have the choice of making an account on a legacy server. Maybe they trust the legacy players that they will, put the economy the way they want it. They aren't going to tool around with it, so they don't care either way. Maybe there's some people that just want to play there. There could be any number of reasons. So at the game's release, I just don't want people to take it too seriously and just say, "Oh, I'm gonna avoid legacy servers." That's just a bad idea as a whole. Some people it might be a bad idea. For some people, they might not care. Do whatever it is that you please. I give people the sort of neutral view, no matter what. And what's more important is my feelings towards this 6 months from now. 6 months from now, it doesn't matter if you're legacy, non-legacy. It won't matter because all the servers are going to have the same type of people on them. And what I mean by that is people are going to have 50s, they're going to have lots of money, economies are going to be leveled out. Server transfers will be open probably 6 to 8 months from now between all servers. There won't be this legacy versus non-legacy server thing. That status, it'll essentially mean nothing anyway in 6 months. So I just think that as a community, the Final Fantasy 14 community, we should stop looking at the legacy status now. We should stop looking at, 1.0 people having their 50s, having whatever they leveled. Just don't look at it now, because in 6 months it won't matter. And for that, it shouldn't matter now. I can understand maybe you're brand new and you want to be a part of the race, the world first race for new content. Maybe it'll be so hard that the legacy players won't have a beat by the time they're 50. I mean, that's a stretch, but my point is, as I don't feel that the legacy status is really worth mentioning. That's why I was so hesitant to make this video in the first place. It's just not something that's important. And as a legacy player, I can tell you, it's just not a big deal unless 6 months from now I am still playing, which I will be. But there's not really much else to say. And I just hope that as a community we can move on and forget about the legacy status, because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Just be who you are, be kind to others, and if they're not kind to you, then don't play with them, don't talk to them. Play with people who you're happy to play with. And that's my message with this video log. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to check out the rest of my channel, just go and check it out. I have a few Final Fantasy 14 overviews and dungeon guides and things like that. And I will be doing Final Fantasy 14 video content when the NDA gets lifted. I'll also be doing plenty of other content on my channel over the coming months. So, just like, favorite, subscribe, and share. Also, I'm not going to mention a certain thing in this video, but also check out my Facebook at www.facebook.com/MrHappy1227. You can go there and meet a community of nice people who are able to, discuss and argue in a kind way. I guess debating is the better word. People who are just capable of this, they're there. There's about 450 people right now. So just come on there, and you're welcome. You can come by anytime, ask me questions, whatever you need to do. Check the links in the description below. There will be some excuse me. There will be some links there that you might want to check out, including a charity stream that I help with. And other than that, guys, until next time, thanks for watching. Take care.